Credeți că o să stau eu să explic toate astea? Prototipul versus fiecare animatron? Răspunsul este nu. Hai că am arătat și-o cu mâna, numărul 1 sunt. Motivul, astăzi nu am stat să editez nu știu ce, pentru că, după cum vedeți, background-ul meu a cam suferit niște modificări de domeniul fantasticului și al supranaturalului, așa că am zis că, bă, decât să vă las fără clip, o să vă las cu un clip de ăsta direct. Bine, asta și pentru că corelează oarecum cu ce am făcut eu în ultima vreme, cu prototipul versus personajul X, Y, așa. Înainte de a începe, nu uitați să spulberați la maxim acel buton de like, să vă abonați cu tot cu clopoțel ca să fiți la curent cu tot ce postez, share la prietenii voștri, dacă aveți și ceva, follow pe Instagram /Slimer_Shmaker, server de Discord în descriere. Deci, fără alte cuvinte, luați-o popcorn-ul și să-i dăm drumul. Ia, frate, să vedem. Ia să vedem. Sper să nu fie prea tare. Da, frate, prototipul viața mea.
That's right, I'm talking about the FNAF franchise. So in today's video, I'm going to be trying to answer
oh my
the question,
God.
Could the prototype defeat every single animatronic from the FNAF games in a fight? Also, let me know down below, what did you guys think of the prototype's reveal in the game? I personally like his design, though I feel like everyone had the impression that he was going to be more of an amalgamation, but nonetheless, he still looks cool. Okay, let's get into it.
Da, frate.
Okay, so how is this all going to work? Well, I'm going to be going over all of the mainline games and not the spin-offs, so I'll be avoiding
Unde e helpoante? Așa, frate, așa.
among others. To understand if the prototype can even be in the
A
same
pus
range
helpoante
as
2.
animatronics, we must first understand his abilities. We knew he was built different, but thanks to Giblet, we now understand why the toys fear him. The prototype is extremely intelligent and is most likely the smartest toy in Playtime Co. I mean, he's the one who started the Hour of Joy. Next is he's nearly immortal. As of Chapter 5, we still don't have any idea of what the prototype's weakness is, but we know that based on what Giblet told us, that he has one. Look, we're not the first to try and take down the prototype. Everyone who tries, they fail.
Oh my God.
He's so juiced up.
Hai mă, frate, vreau să văd prototipul versus ăștia. Ce naiba, frate, ce naiba. Bă, ce gol a rămas spațiul ăla din spate. What the fuck.
He's highly durable, able to survive explosions and high voltage.
Fun fact, sunt în pula goală.
The obvious, you know, his hands are really sharp, they're pincers and claws. He's also very stealthy. Perhaps the scariest thing about him is he's able to mimic any voice he hears. He also possesses the red smoke, which is able to put people to sleep and give them nightmarish hallucinations. With his abilities out of the way, let's start from the beginning in FNAF 1. Okay, starting in FNAF 1, I'm going to save some time here and say that no animatronic in this game could defeat the prototype. He's much bigger and stronger, though he would probably have the hardest time fighting Foxy because of his speed, but the FNAF 1 pizzeria is much smaller, and so the prototype would have a harder time navigating, but eventually he would catch Foxy and end him. But the only animatronic that would give him trouble would be Golden Freddy.
Ia mă, ia că-s curios aici la Golden Freddy.
We don't have any phantom toys or ghosts, so I'd say that Golden Freddy would hinder the prototype and would probably just escape the building, while the prototype is caught in a jump scare. He clears FNAF 1 with ease. On to FNAF 2, we have way more animatronics. Now individually, none of these would pose a threat, but together they might be some issues. The withers are pretty big and heavy. We know the prototype is strong, but if all the withers attack at once, they could dismember him.
Dacă vă place directul ăsta, poate fac și un clip în genul ăsta cu prototipul versus animatorii din FNAF. Rămâne de văzut acum, rămâne de văzut.
As far as the toy animatronics go, though, they are modern and are high-tech, but they're frail. I mean, the prototype would probably be intrigued by Mangle, seeing himself in it, but then would probably be offended because Mangle is too weak. Seeing that she's losing the battle, the marionette would command all the animatronics to form their own prototype and do battle with the real prototype. That would be really cool. The marionette's rage against the prototype's rage, it would come down to who would last longer, and here, I'm going with the original prototype. The reason for this is because he's been alive longer, his rage is much more powerful than the marionette's. Now, when it comes to Shadow Freddy, Shadow Bonnie, and Golden Freddy, once again, it's difficult because there isn't any ghosts, and I can't really match that up, so I'll leave it to you guys to decide. Okay, now on to FNAF 3. Here, it's pretty simple.
Ce dracu să-i facă ea Shadow, what the fuck?
A
doar să hrănesc cu agonie, pâlă, mă.
Is very durable, much like the prototype. Now,
bine, se pot hrăni cu agonia prototipului, dacă ar fi să o luăm așa.
Conductor to bind someone's soul to metal. Its powers can be amplified through someone's memories and emotions. As we know, because of this, William Afton has always come back. His remnant is extremely powerful, but in a physical fight against the prototype, he would be slain or so.
Eu am presupus în timeline că în momentul ăsta când era Sprinter nu avea remnantul în el. Mă rog.
And throw his body and not think much of it, but William would rise and want to fight again. This process would repeat itself for a very long time.
Dar nu știu, mă, ideea e că Sprinter nu mi se pare chiar atât de puternic ca Animatron. Adică, da, cred că are doar durabilitate și atâta. Nu știu ce ar avea. Forma Dragonii este ceva. Forma chiar e insane.
And instead find William interesting and want to work with him. And this would be an even deadlier outcome for the FNAF universe and the Poppy Playtime universe. The Prototype and William Afton joining forces to achieve immortality.
Păi stai așa unde bă, nici până acum am terminat background-ul, gen toate lucrurile de așezat. Cine m-a pus să dau bani pe toate astea, vai de viața mea?
And control over their creations? Yikes. As we know, none of the FNAF 4 animatronics actually exist, so the contestant here would have to be Evan. I find it kind of funny that Evan would be expecting to survive another normal night, but only to find out that the threat is real this time. Now, the Prototype wouldn't kill Evan, but instead will turn him into a toy. Now, if you ask me, I think that's a fate even worse than death. Here now at FNAF's sister location, these animatronics are probably the tallest and the bulkiest from the series. All of the animatronics here would perish. He would make quick work of the fun times and probably absorb energy since he's already falling apart. But one that would stand amongst the rest would be Baby. Now Baby in a way is similar to the Prototype in that she's the leader of the Funtime gang and she's very smart and manipulative. I think that she would somehow lead the Prototype to the scooping room and get him scooped.
IQ mai mare decât prototipul, pe bune.
But it would damage him. If Kissy Missy hindered him for a bit when she ripped off his red gas canister, then a powerful scooper could do more damage. And perhaps in the same way that Playtime Co. contained the Prototype, maybe Baby can too. Baby would win this fight if she can trap the Prototype underground with her. Other than that, she would be outmatched in an actual physical fight. So because they are underground and Baby knows the environment, she would win by trapping the Prototype with her forever. Okay, now onto the game in this list with the most animatronics. It's FNAF Pizzeria Simulator. Let's divide this up into groups. The first is Trash and Gang. They would get absolutely destroyed. The Prototype wouldn't even try to kill them. He would just be walking around the pizzeria and just accidentally step on them. Next is the Mediocre Melodies. I mean, come on. These guys are literally powered by car batteries and are mid at best.
Mai tăiesc mă ăștia. Hai, nu Mr. Hippo, nu Mr. Hippo.
Very long story. The Prototype would find some symbolism in it and perhaps take in Mr. Hippo and make him part of his team at Playtime Co. And next we have the Posh Pizzeria animatronics. Once again, they would get destroyed. Maybe Music Man can outrun the Prototype, but eventually would get caught and killed. Onto the Rockstar animatronics, which are just cheaply made copies of the original. Their body armor would not be
rezumă numai la jocul. Nu la cărți, acolo ar fi jale pentru prototip, să fiu sincer.
Because they're already destroyed. Starting off with Scrap Baby, though, she is still Baby. She's just more beaten up and has her razor hand. It wouldn't be nearly as strong enough to sever a limb from the Prototype. Moving on to Scrap Trap, he's also just a weaker version of Springtrap. He's already missing an arm, but because he is nearly immortal, they would join forces again. The other Scraps would just perish, no question. As far as the other side of the animatronics in the game, like the side ones, they would be taken in as prisoners and be forced to work for the Prototype, since most of them are small and can't really do anything. Like, come on, what is Helpy gonna do? Getting close to the end here, we have Security Breach. Now, Security Breach is the gap between the two franchises. I like to imagine that the Prototype would break into the facility and immediately cause havoc. First of all, the staff bots would be reduced to nothing but metal piles. Then you have the Glam Rocks. They too would perish quickly, but if Freddy is fully upgraded, meaning he has Monty's claws, Chica's voice box, which stuns enemies, and Roxanne's eyes, which allows him to see through walls, then he has a chance. He can climb on the Prototype and inflict some pretty heavy damage. I think that with these upgrades, he could potentially pull off a win. Now, how would the Prototype do against the animatronics like DJ?
Ia frate, ce-i face lui ăsta? Ce-i face?
The Prototype, he's not as fast though, but in terms of weapons, he has his teeth and his arms. He is big. I think this would be the downfall of DJ Music Man because the Prototype could use his height as an advantage. He would pierce his head and remove it and replace his body with DJ Music Man's, making him much more dangerous. Now we have Burn Trap and the Blob, aka Tangle. Now Burn Trap is William Afton once again returning from the dead, so same thing here. It would be a fruitless fight.
Dar bă, întreb, nu e William Afton. Bă, trebuie să se informeze de FNAF lor. Bă, trebuie să se informeze de FNAF lor. Băi, sunt curios dacă au zis ăștia prin comentarii că bă, întreb, nu e William Afton. Mă rog, nu găsesc eu fizic ceva, dar...
That's the Prototype of the FNAF series. The two would fight. Tangle, being filled with agony, would be relentless against the Prototype. The Prototype would not be able to detect a weakness in Tangle, and likewise. So both of them would keep fighting, and eventually the two would combine with each other. Similar to Ultron Signal, the Prototype's hate mixed in with Tangle's hate. The two would be an unstoppable, unkillable force. With this newfound power, all of the rest of the animatronics would be forced to obey and worship the Tangle Prototype, a new and evolved specimen. Very quickly here, I wanted to mention FNAF Ruin. Now, if Gregory did this to all these animatronics, then the Prototype wouldn't have a problem. You would think that MXES would be a threat, but since it can be shut down, the Prototype would quickly figure that out and simply just deactivate it. Now at the end of our list is FNAF Secret of the Mimic with only one
Rip
feature,
into the
animatronic,
pit.
and it's
Rip
the
into
main
the pit.
machine
Hai mă, l-aș și
itself,
pus la
the
început.
Mimic. It's highly durable, it's being able to survive being burned alive, car crashes, falling great heights, almost anything you throw at this thing. The reason is
știu, eu îl
because
consider cam
it's
egal cu
extremely
prototipul,
strong,
sincer,
it's made
pe
out of
Mimic.
tungsten, which is a pretty durable metal and it's basically unbreakable. It takes something very strong to actually put a dent in it.
Am zis asta și când am făcut prototipul versus Mimic.
Yes, if given the time. This type of technology would fascinate the prototype. Wanting to learn more, he would study the Mimic. The way the Mimic would win this fight is by going inside of the prototype and taking over its identity, becoming the new prototype. So really, nothing would change except the Mimic mimicking the prototype until it would need to leave its body if it were close to being killed. So all in all, the prototype would be able to take down the entire FNAF universe, with some exceptions, of course. You know, I really enjoyed making this video. I hope all you enjoyed watching it.
Da, cam ăsta a fost și clipul, vă spun. Eu sper că v-a plăcut și poate voi face un clip de genul. Poate. Nu promit nimic. Poate mi se scoală și voi face, mă. Deci, ce pot să zic? Like, share, subscribe acolo. Teorii, scoate, ne scrie. Eu am fost Slime, ne mai auzim.